I haven't shown this to you yet because this is something I've seen kind of developing as a trend. For me, it's a bit of a photography killer, in a good way, because I think photography has its place, especially in marketing. You need promotional shots, etc. But what's the next evolution?
That was a big intro.
Yeah, I think
I'm up now.
this company work with a lot of CG. Now, I'll play this for you. Um, They talk a lot about virtual locations, so this is very relevant for right now. Imagine this is pretty much a game engine. Can you see that? Yeah. The environment is entirely computer generated. So what they've got here is models, but then they've spec'd it up to such a high quality that they can do, give you complete freedom for camera angle selection. Right, so they're just going to move it around, change the shot around. So any photo shoot like that is going to take a serious amount of work. You'd have to move the car around. You have to get the right lighting conditions. You have to get permissions at the property that you're using to keep shifting. And they even talk about time of day. So look at these angles. You can just move around the scene seamlessly. So if you for a product list, and let me just say these models, you can buy these models of the cars pretty easily, and then you can just change whatever you like on them. Suddenly, your product marketing or your product photo shoots, they're
Wow.
so you've just seen what they're trying to get at here is this benefit that you really get from the way that they do this software use. Okay, now they're really showing this, and this was an actual piece they did for Mustang, for Ford Mustang, and they're showing how it all comes together and the shots they were getting. So you'll see this. Here we go, foreground building grid. So they create everything themselves and then add to it. And then realistically, can you imagine sitting with the client, and the client goes, "I'm not really a fan of that color or this or that," and you can just start to change it and tweak it, and to the point where you get something that is photorealistic. And then the client wants something else for a different day. You take that model, you shift it, you shift the time of day. For me, it's phenomenal.
That I agree with what you're saying about. Well, no, let me take that back. I don't think it could kill photography because I think that's a talent. That's an eye for detail. The reason I say this is I've worked in a content company that made adverts for cars and stuff like that. And I've seen what goes into an on location shoot. And then you've obviously storyboarded it, you've sent it to the client, they've approved it, you've gone out. But then there's that kind of that gamble. Was it the right lighting? Was it the right this and all that? And you can imagine the money that goes into this, especially a lot of it is in exotic places. It's on the salt flats of wherever, or it's on some ocean somewhere or some meandering hill, like most car adverts. But this here, if this is as quick as it looks in that demo, because I mean, honestly, I hadn't seen this before. This is you could be briefed in a meeting and storyboard that in that meeting and then just walk away while it renders. Do you know what I mean? And it also taps into the usual thing that most designers get from clients. Can you make it a bit more blue? Can you make it pop? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is a similar thing like this in Adobe right now. I used it a while ago. Oh, Christ, what is the name? It's like Adobe RT or something. It's one of their little hidden tools.
I've never heard of that.
Well, I'll get the name of it. You put me on a spot surprising me with this video, so I'm trying to think. I'll try and think of the link of it. But it's kind of like, it's a 3D, a very simple 3D rendering tool, and it has shapes like bottles, shopping bags, gift wrapping, and all this kind of stuff. And you could put it in any environment that they provide for you and then label it how you want. So let's say you were doing product testing or package testing and you wanted to do that. You can do it. You can add effects. It's a rainy day. You can do all that kind of stuff. You can see it is a bit 3D graphic-y, but quite realistic, not at the level you've just shown me. This stuff over here, rather than photography killer, I think would be agency killer, if you ask me.
That's a really good point. Yeah, because
I could run this at home on my desktop here.
So there, I do know there is an element of. I don't think it's as fast as they were showing there, because that's a demo video.
No 3D. You have your rendering.
There's a rendering
machine.
Yeah, there's a rendering process to this. There's obviously a whole workflow that goes into it. But that's a really good point. I hadn't thought of it that way around being an agency killer, because you're completely right. The types of shoots these guys put together to do, as you said, exotic locations, etc.
Many people on that shoot.
Yeah.
What we've got here is a 3D renderer, a graphic guy doing it, and maybe a director or what do you call them on the films? Like a photographic director.
Yeah, DOP.
Right there, let's get the render down. all that. It's a one man, two man band, and you're going to see if this software, if they licensed it, or if somebody got it and they became qualified in it, or they were a pro at it, you're going to find like and it kind of taps into what we've spoken about in the past about fake news and deep fakes and all this. It's like, if you think about it now, we're going to be looking at imagery, and how are we going to distinguish? Like, some of that stuff was surreal, and especially for the car industry, but I don't think it stops there. It's a chocolate bar from Switzerland. Somebody in London made it, but now it's in the Alps. And these guys, I don't know. You didn't say. I'm gathering that this might move into video.
So I have seen them replicate stuff in video as well, and it looks quite good. It's effectively, you're taking game engine software. Like, I've seen stuff like this created in Unity, which is often used for game engine use, and I've seen it used in there. But I think I've seen different types of software for this now, because usually you use a couple of different rendering softwares to rendering softwares. What am I talking about? Usually use a different couple of rendering applications for different things. Sometimes if you want to add some different effects to things, you might run it through something else. But generally, these guys have been creating photographic imagery for print, maybe for magazines, for billboards, that sort of thing. So imagine resolution-wise, you can make it look as crazy as you want, and you can add different models. Yeah. Exactly. You can use any kind of models you want. And I'll flash on screen here. There's actually one here with different models in the background. They've got an airplane, different things like that, trees. And I've even seen it where they've taken actual locations. So somebody provided a background plate, so a shot of the wilderness somewhere, and then they've overlaid their model onto it and then color corrected to match the scene effectively. So they're using real locations with a model car on top. And then suddenly you're not having to rely on rendered backgrounds. There's the opportunity for this is huge, which is why I was sort of saying photography killer in jest, because I do think there's a time and place for that sort of thing. If you want to have models, humans in the scene, it's always going to be easier to photograph them and to get their reactions naturally, as opposed to trying to 3D render a human, which is actually a real painful process. And we can generally tell when something's been rendered. But this is, in my opinion, one of the great ways I think that some of this technology will be used to create. And as you say, this has been used for cars. There's no reason it can't be used for any other product.
I'm thinking one thing we forget to mention, though, is this technology has been with us a long time. Maya, like you said, Unreal Engine, it's been there for a while. I'm thinking that these guys got something that's like quick and easy, and all the engines like Maya, if you're doing photorealistic stuff, takes time to render. The stuff has been there, exists. When I realized when I asked that they're going to do this in video, and I'm thinking we do it already in CGI and and things like that. But this looks like it's a service where they've built it. It's a nice user interface. It's done. You can build it there and then, and they can create all these environments. The technology has existed for a while. I just think these guys have said, "Hey, we can package this better." And
I think so.
The demo that they show is amazing, and I wouldn't be surprised that they've done that, obviously, for the car industry, because whoever's in that company probably knows the cost involved in doing a real on-location shoot with the team, the car. I think they've probably got 3 or 4 cars out there. They've got to get them out there and ship them out.
Well, exactly. Yeah, you've got to get stuff to location.
You're going to find a lot of cameramen, a lot of photographers, a lot of on-set people and all that are not going to like this software because they're not going to get their trips to Hawaii to do these shoots and things like that. But who's to say it wouldn't, I know there was something a while ago, maybe you know about this, and it's this weird looking car that doesn't really have a top. It has a lot of 3D sensors on it. It's the size of a car, and they can drive that around and film it. And all
I have seen this. Yeah.
They can go into the 3D rendering software and put any brand of car on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they would sell that. Like, they'll be like, hey, they'll have this car, this setup in any country in the world.
They'll get the physics right on it.
I'll phone them and say, hey, have you got one of those in Hawaii? Yeah, cool. Could you go down to the beach, film this, blah, blah, blah. Sweet. Send us the footage. They get it. The guys like Audi or Mercedes who've got the 3D models, high definition models, just slap that on and your advert's done. So that my point is the technology has been there. These guys are just packaging it really well. And I still stand by that. This kind of stuff is an agency killer, or maybe we go in further and say agency budget killer. Do you know what I mean? Like,
as I said, you've hit the nail on the head for me. Those budgets are huge usually. As you say, it's 20 people involved at different stages. Go into location, get everything shipped out there, get in the car in location, all these different things. I want to show you this real quick picture on screen here, and this is the Porsche Macan. You can see here the background.
It's real, doesn't it?
It's real. There you go. There's the graphic loaded on top, and then they just color correct for the scene. They crop anything else out, like these people in the bottom left here. And there's your scene done. They do that all the time to the point where
that background 3D rendered as well.
No. Actually, I think potentially this one is, but I don't think this one was. I think.
Wow. So if you want to make money on stock photography now, just go and take pictures as if there was a car there, and then you've got background for them.
Yeah. So just back to your point there, we missed that bit, but around stock photography, exactly. So people are combining these technologies together and making some really cool end products.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested to see what's next. But obviously, if you're going to do anything, you might as well do luxury cars and get all these different things. And back to their original video, which is around lighting, locations, it's even more relevant now where you can't get a film crew, photography crew out to a location. You can't fly them there. They can't be within 2 meters of each other. So it's not going to happen. And that's really what they're playing on at the moment, is this idea that they can do any shoot, any place, any location. And it may take them a week to render it or sort it all out or whatever, but you're going to have something that is pristine.
4 months to plan a trip there. Do you know what I mean? Like to get the permits, to get the land thing. You probably got to pay the people that you're filming the land on. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
all those costs evaporate.